What's going on, YouTube? So today we're going to do a review on the Powermate 9-inch 79cc gas walk behind gas lawn edger. I've actually had this edger for about a year. There's a lot of things that I love about it, and there's one giant thing that I hate about it. We'll talk about that later. But I went online just to see if I could find some reviews, and I couldn't. I think the longest review I could find on this thing was about 39 seconds long. And I didn't think that was helping a lot of people that were looking to see how this thing operates and how well it operates. So I figured I'd come on here and post this for you all to see what you think about the Powermate gas edger. The first thing I want to start talking about is durability. And once we get into all that, we'll talk about how well it actually functions and how it functions. And then I'm actually going to run a strip down the side of my driveway to show you how well it actually does. So as far as the build goes, it's built really well. It's all metal. There are a couple plastic parts here, maybe on the adjustment knob and maybe on the tire lift adjuster, but that's really about it. Everything else on here is built well. So it does take a good amount of abuse, and I know I've actually put it through the ringer. The steel blade that this comes with has actually lasted me over a year. And like I said, I have been using this pretty much non-stop throughout the year. I edge my lawn at least once a week just to keep those lines nice and crisp. Now the hardest thing is actually getting that nice clean line. And what a lot of people think is they take these edgers and they just put those blades all the way down and they think that they're going to get that nice crisp line the first time, and that's not really how it works. You probably have to go over it twice or maybe even 3 times to get that nice crisp line. So don't think that you're going to get this home and run it one time and you're going to have that perfect line. So the one thing I really like about this edger is that it really gives you a lot of adjustment. So if you look at this little knob right there in the front, that actually allows you to loosen that up and slide that wheel left to right, and that helps you line your cut up. If you look at the left hand side where that little lever is, that actually allows you to adjust the wheel depth. So if I wanted to cut very low into the soil or very deep, maybe I'm running some electrical line for my low voltage wiring, I can position that just like it is now, or I can bring that all the way up. And what I'll do is actually position that now for you. So what you would do right here, it just come, pull that, and then bring that like so. And you can see how that lifts that up. Now, when you're making that adjustment, you also have to make another adjustment as well. So the other adjustment I'm talking about is right here. Now what that does is actually allows the wheel to drop. And when that wheel drops, you're able to cut different depths. And what I mean by that is if you're cutting a curb area and say you're out by the road, you're cutting on the curb, and I'll show you this. You're cutting on the curb, you can actually drop that back right wheel all the way down to touch the road while you're up on the curb. So it keeps everything nice and level. How you actually do that is by this adjustment knob right here. So it's a tighten, loosen. So all you do is loosen this up. And that loosens the bracket on the right side. And now I can bring this up and tighten it back up again. So now if I wanted to, I could raise this up, and this would sit on the roadside, and this would sit on the berm, and it would keep it nice and level. So that's how you actually adjust those 2 angles. The other adjustment you have is right here. Now, just to let you know, you have to make sure that this adjustment is all the way up before you can start it. So make sure this goes all the way up in the up position, and you just simply pull that handle right here, and that's how you start it. But if you want to adjust your actual blade depth, let me show you here. All you would do is come over, bring it down, and then bring it back up again. So it's very simple. Now you can see how I have that setting up, but once again, if I were to adjust that handle on the left hand side, I can go even deeper. So it works perfectly with putting low voltage lines in and so on. The other nice feature that this has is it allows you to cut in an angle. So instead of just going straight all the time, you can actually adjust this by doing this lever right here at 15 degrees. Here and here. So that gives you a nice wide line instead of just a straight and narrow. And what else is nice about this is they actually put a little rubber guard there so the dirt doesn't come back and smack you in the legs. And believe me, that helps. So in all, when it comes to the adjustments and the build of this machine, they did a wonderful job on that. It's very heavy duty, very sturdy, very solid, right? It takes a lot of abuse, and you can do many different adjustments. So I'm giving 2 thumbs up on the design and the functionality. Even the wheels are solid, and they really take a beating. The only other thing that would have been nice if they had an adjustable handle. You know, some people are shorter than other people, some people are taller than other people, so sometimes it's nice to be able to have that handle adjust, like on a lot of other machines that I have. You know, my garden tiller, you know, I can adjust the handle. This right here, I would have liked to have seen that, but they just didn't add it. How do you actually start this thing up? Well, that is one of the major downfalls about this machine. It doesn't have a primer bulb. We'll get to that in a little bit. But here's your choke. So if it's sitting there for a while, you want to make sure that you're on the cold start choke. You're going to pull up on your handle. You're going to make sure that your adjustment lever is all the way to the top. So pull back on that handle, adjust that choke, and start pulling. Once you get that started up, let it run on the choke for a little bit. All right, so as you've seen in the previous clip, that was kind of hard to start. That is a major downfall about this machine right here. It is not easy to start. There's no primer bulb, which I wish there would have been. If there would have been, to put some gas in that carb, it would have been a lot easier. But I've already had this thing running a couple times this year, so it should have started up a lot easier. The problem is, if you don't have 3 80-degree days in a row, it's gonna take you forever to start it. Like I said, I've already been using this year. So it's gonna take you forever to start this. It took me like 3 hours to get the thing started, and it was just miserable. And it's only been sitting for about 4 months, 5 months. So that is a major downfall about this machine. They need to add some type of primer bulb or something, because I really have a hard time starting it. If you can overcome that, and maybe I'm the only one, maybe I got one that's just hard to start. Maybe other people out there are not having this trouble. But if you do get started, or when you get it started, it works amazingly, and I'm going to show it to you. But it's just really hard to start. That is my major downfall with this machine. But once you get it started, it's solid, and it's going to work really well. So as you can see, it's edged a little bit. I ran it, I don't know, a week ago, and I didn't really go full force with it. I just sort of wanted to clear the overgrowth, but I never cut the angle cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this straight down, but you can see it's overgrown, and it's just not looking very nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to start this thing up, and we're going to run it, and I will show you how nice it actually works. Here we go. We got the lever down. So as you can see, it gives you a really nice solid line the whole way down. It's really easy to push. Now if you've never done this yet, if you haven't edged yet, then you're gonna have to push a little bit and then go back a little bit and then push a little bit and then go back a little bit. Your first time, you're not gonna get that straight edge. Now I've been edging for the last couple years, so you have to make sure that you take it nice and slow. It's not gonna go deep for you the first time and then run that perfect edge. You gotta work that edge a little bit, and then once you get some of that dirt out of there, then you can hit it. You can go all the way down like I did. But then you take a blower and blow that off, and it's a perfect edge. So what we're going to do now is an angle cut. So I am going to, once again, push in my lever, make sure this is all the way at the top. We're gonna start it up. so now you can see that line is a lot wider, and I'm going to take a blower and blow some of that out, and I will show you how nice that looks. Alright, so there you go. That was with the angle. You can really just see how nice it cuts. I mean, once you get it going, it just does a beautiful job. So very clean lines, very sturdy build, very easy to use once you get her going, and it just does an amazing job once you get her going. And just so you know, this is what it looks like when you're actually cutting a curb. You can see the road and the curb that I'm trying to edge. If I didn't have this adjustment, I wouldn't be able to do this unless I went only one way. And it works fine. I mean, you can actually adjust that, bring that down, and it makes it cut real nice. So you can see here, like I said, that back wheel adjust. You drop your front wheel and you position your blade to right where you need to edge, and it allows you to do that, and it works perfectly. I mean, it really does work good. So that's a nice feature on this edger. Alright, so there you go. That's how it runs and how it works for you, and it just does such a good job. And I apologize for trying to talk a little bit more quiet in this video here. My neighbors, they like to stare at me for some reason when I do these reviews, and I don't know, they must think I'm weird or something, but whatever. But anyway, it just does such a good job when it's running. The problem is it's a warm-blooded animal. If it's a little too chilly outside, especially the first month that you're trying to get this thing going, after the winter time and it's sitting there for a while, even when you put the gas additives in there over the winter time, it's really hard to start. So I really struggle on how to rate this here. Like I said, it just runs so good. It just built so well. It's just a starting. So if I were to give this a 1 star to a 5 star, 1 being the worst and 5 being the best, I want to say maybe 3.5, maybe 4. Maybe I think I'm going to go with a 4. I mean, it's hard for me. It's hard for me because literally last week, a couple weeks ago, when I was trying to get this started for the first time, I almost put it out in the junk pile just because I had such a hard time. They really should add some type of primer to this. But for the price range, I'm going 3.5. I know that's weird. You either give a 3 or 4, but I'm going 3.5. I struggle. 3.5 star on this. So all in all, if you're looking to buy this thing, now this video can help you make that determination, hopefully. And if it does, I appreciate if you thumbs up and subscribe. That's what helps keep these videos going. And I guess we'll catch you later with more videos. Take it easy.